I think these citizen action movements, this kind of activity is the most important thing going on the planet without fail. It's a sobering fact to recognize that what we are dealing with is not just holding hands across the ocean, however important that may be, not just learning that after all the Soviets or the Americans, as the case may be, are actually human beings and that we really can learn to get along. But what we have to learn to get along at is this far, far vaster task of together with all the rest of the population of the earth, making the kind of mind change that will allow us to have a viable planetary future for all time to come.
When we communicate with the American people, we indeed see their open way. They're very friendly. They want to know us. And I would like to wish that we should not cultivate the image of enemy of each other. A little knowledge of each other brings us to a sort of suspicion of each other. But if we feel that we are together to create one global family, we must have trust and goodwill, confidence in each other.
In this Peace Command Center, in this situation room of the peoples of Earth, what we do is we scan the whole world for what's working. We map the process that people are now doing in their projects. We bring ourselves together and we communicate it live.
To propose to leaders of the NATO and Warsaw Treaty countries to appoint a joint committee of their respective military chief of staffs to devise a mutual security system devoid of nuclear weapons that will guarantee mutual security of their member nations.
The purpose of which is to develop specific proposals that encourage the U.S. and Soviet governments to work together to eliminate terrorism.
First, there will be a prototype project where 12 young Soviet citizens, 12 young Americans, and 12 young Costa Ricans, sponsored by the Holy Earth Network, Earth Stewards Network, and the Volunteers for Peace, will go with Komsomolskaya Pravda and Sputnik to Costa Rica for a work camp to do a reforestation project. Secondly, we will be with the group Plowshares and the Soviet Peace Fund, we are going to be sending a team of volunteers, American and Soviet, for 1 to 2 years to work on a life-serving project in the Third World.
Our first proposal would be the first joint U.S.-USSR UN initiative, which would be the proclamation of an international year for global education. Also the activation of 30 UN days, the establishment of a global association for peace for children of the world, a joint Soviet-American task force and advisory board for Peaceland, which is a creative park for children in Moscow, a clearinghouse for information, and open telecommunication lines between our two countries to facilitate all of the task force projects.
Но мы, как люди дела, закончили сегодняшним проектом. Мы договорились с Питером о том,
We agreed to meet in 3 months in Moscow to start a joint Soviet-American venture of farmers' exchanges.
A petition to the heads of the departments of education in both the United States and the Soviet Union to make courses on healthy parenting and human relationships a standard educational program in our schools. Number 2 is the establishment of a Soviet-American Council on the Healing Arts.